I'm watching. I had to rewind. Gerald over there at North Carolina Beat. Y'all go give him a view, okay? Because he's putting it down, okay? And like I said, the all of the other individuals who I haven't listened to their lives yet. I think Neek is about to go live. I didn't see the Queen Sheba schedule a live or not. I'm pretty sure that it is very tiring being in that courtroom, having to handwrite out all of those notes and then having to come and have a discussion about it after being there all day. So I don't know what Queen Sheba's plans are. I know she has a whole lot of different angles for her content. So I know if she misses a day here or there, she'll do something with that content later at a later time. But I didn't see that she scheduled one yet. But I think Neek is about to go live and William the baddest blogger, North Carolina Beat, he's on right now. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. I might have to go to Texas and protest. Okay? Cause this some bullshit. Gerald told us that the defense stated that this Carmelo has epilepsy. He has epilepsy. He taught Gerald is giving a description, a broader description of the opening arguments. Because based off what I heard on court TV, and then what I saw on Law and Crime, and then the Neek during her lunchtime live was more so focused on the surveillance video and giving us some details on that. And it's corroborating things that Gerald is reporting now as well, right? But Gerald is giving us some more detailed synopsis. I'm pretty sure the other two content creators are going to too. This is why I like watching Verse reporting. This is why I pull in those mainstream media reports as well. So I could see what is the difference and what angle. Is it a different angle, right? I didn't hear anyone up to now, none of these mainstream um news organizations talk about the fact that this boy is epileptic. Now, y'all know how I get when it's some health shit. Y'all know how I get when it's some health shit, okay? That boy, I don't, I hope the defense got a medical expert. That's all I'm saying. Because if they did, the defense is saying, according to Gerald, the defense is saying that they do have witnesses from Austin School that will be testified in favor of the defendant, right? But I hope they have a medical expert to explain what epilepsy is, what triggers epilepsy. I got you Takis, ma. Okay. What triggers epilepsy, what the traumatic effect and the impact that can happen if he was being attacked and went into an epileptic seizure. And all of this is foundation. We could see self-defense before now. Hey, Queen Keish, you said how long the trial? I don't know. I don't know how long the trial is supposed to be. I know they say it was a lot of eyewitnesses. And I think so. We know that it is supposed to be Saturday court at least this week. I don't know if it's going to be throughout the duration of the trial, but they will have Saturday court this week. But I'm about to tell you that I'm about to have to head to Texas and start and join the protest. And I hope that defense team has a medical expert that is there to talk about epilepsy, talk about how trauma impact epilepsy, how high stress situations can cause and bring on an epileptic seizure, and how this creates a situation because he has experience with this. So knowing that if he is attacked and what can happen to him, why he would use excessive force, a different type of force. Because the prosecution wants to talk about you can match force for force. No, it is a reason why, and it is very reasonable even now with that key component to understand why this boy felt like he needed to defend himself against these two big ass boys. William, the baddest blogger, is telling us how Austin and his brother Hunter had Carmelo surrounded according to the defense's theory, and that there are certain things that William is saying you can see on the tape. Like even after the situation occurred, nobody had even known yet that he had been stabbed. But as soon as Carmelo stabs him, a whole crew of people start running after him. So it's clear that they were meaning to attack him. And Gerald is saying you could see that on the video, on the surveillance video. The video, it is hard to make out some of the components. That is what some of the people reported, but there are certain things you can see. Gerald consistently reports the same thing as Neek, that the suggestion that the prosecution made that he should have went into another tent that was closer, that wasn't an option because that one was packed. And then what difference would it have made? What if somebody in that tent would have told him, don't come over here? And then they would have been involved in the altercation. What difference did it make? It was pouring down rain. Like I said, what kind of... I'm sorry. And I know this boy passed away. But because of the way that they are continuously trying to paint Carmelo, what type of savage did these parents raise? That it's pouring down raining. They begin to attack this boy who is much smaller in stature than them. Like, I don't... If that's the case, if you want to make somebody out a monster, we can go blow for blow. I'm just saying. We can do it too. And we can do it better. Like, this has got to be... This is crazy. This first degree murder charge makes absolutely no sense. This is nothing but an overzealous prosecutor. And I hope that this jury sees through this. You said it could trigger his... Yes, it could trigger his epilepsy, which is the cause of why he might have felt like I was defending myself. He could have went into a seizure even after trying to run away from them, trying to get away. I mean, when you think about the fact that he's outnumbered in the tent, and apparently, I don't know if we're going to find out that something ended up transpiring is a result of what happened, because the person that he went over there that he knew, that he went to go speak to, that he saw a familiar face, there is some question because the defense says he thought was his friend. So I don't know if there's going to be something additional added to that he thought was his friend, because upon sight, Carmelo assumed that was a friend of his, and he went over there to go into the tent to get shelter from the rain and to speak. But something must have transpired that made that he saw a friend or a familiar face, to now the defense is saying he thought he was a friend. So we gotta wait for the testimony in order to see if anything unfolds from that statement made by the defense team. But this is definitely a ripe case for self-defense. Especially, it was already ripe, but especially knowing that this boy has a diagnosis of epilepsy, knowing what can trigger an epileptic seizure, knowing that he knows this and has experience with this. And then imagine this. Imagine him going into a seizure around people who don't even know that he has this. You got these big linebacker boys, no telling to what extent they would have went in order to prove their masculinity. And then if something would have happened to him, this is even more the fear. That's already a fear without even having or adding the epilepsy to this. Now that we know that he has epilepsy and that could have had an impact on his decision making, come on now. Come, come on. Like, come on. I hope and I pray that those women on that jury had some kind of compassion, that they had some kind of influence over what those men might think. I can't even believe that I'm listening to a jury in the state of Texas trying to say that he had a duty to retreat when you got these people fighting in order to keep these gun laws the way, and they want to be able to open carry, and they think it's okay for them to carry their guns around and just shoot somebody randomly if they look at them wrong. But you coming down on this boy about him having a knife under 5.5 inches, which is legal for him to carry anywhere. It probably was not okay for him to have on school grounds because that it violates the zero tolerance policy. The punishment for that is up to expulsion. It is not a criminal charge. So this is crazy, y'all. I need to finish listening to Gerald, because I just had to stop for that a minute, because y'all know how I get when something medical comes up. And then I'm looking at this thing like, okay, what are the possibilities? What happened was definitely threatening to him. It was threatening without any of those components. But knowing that he deals with a medical condition that could trigger if he's involved in a physical altercation, this gives more foundation. It gives more explanation. It brings more understanding to the whole situation. I knew I was right, y'all. I knew I was right about this all along. See, that's why I couldn't have been no juror. Now, I know I was right, but I know that meant I was biased, and I already had my mind made up. And so now I had to be honest. You can't sit me on this jury now, because I don't care what y'all say, especially now after this. I don't care what y'all say. This boy innocent. He innocent. This is self-defense. I can't even at this point consider a lesser included. He's innocent. On opening statements, he's innocent. He was innocent before opening statements to me, but he's innocent twice, double down after opening statements. He's innocent. Look, y'all, I gotta go to bed because I gotta get up early. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to come back and talk to you guys some more, and we'll have some more details and some more and more information to open up the discussion even more. But I just wanted to get that in with you guys tonight about that epilepsy. I did not hear anybody else report that other than Gerald. I am shocked that wasn't reported by the mainstream media. Nobody in mainstream media picked it up. Nobody thought that was worth discussing. Nobody thought that may have had an impact on his decision making on that day, and what the severity and the seriousness of why he thought that maybe he needed to do something in order so he can try to make a clean break away from the situation. Come on now. Listen, y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for Queen Keisha coming in here to me. I did 2 other lives. I don't know whether you got to listen to them, but girl, I gave you a theory in the first one this morning, and then I came back on the second one and told y'all I was right. But go listen to those 2 lives, because I'm not sure if you got a chance to listen to them. And I told y'all, I'm still needing to watch the Michael Jackson documentary. And now I don't know how that's going to work with this Saturday court. I was planning to watch it this weekend, but I might have to wait. I tried to watch it while I was working, and y'all, I need to pay attention. I can listen to this trial because it's clear about the testimony, but when that documentary is going in and out of different people, and I can't pay attention to who's talking when and when the name come up, and so I can make sure I have everything right. So I'm gonna wait in order to watch that to when I can pay full attention to it, so that we can have a conversation. Because Just V is she's acting like some other people out here. She I don't know what. We gonna have to pray for her, because Just V is in denial. She is in denial about MJ, trying to tell me something about he only paid out 2 lawsuits. All of them millions that my MJ had to pay surpass anything R. Kelly paid just to one person. And then those are only the known lawsuits. You don't know how many people he was doing or gave something in the background and shut up. His estate is still fighting lawsuits and all of that. I don't know. Like I said, I have a different opinion on what I think and how that situation looked and went with Michael Jackson. But I believe Michael Jackson did something inappropriate with them children, just like I said. And I think it got overshadowed by what the adults did upon their finding out. The adults looked at it as an opportunity for them to capitalize off of the situation. I don't think the adults might have had it, especially to get Gavin. His mother probably knew what Michael was doing. She might didn't care. She might have been like some of the other parents around here. You know, we done met some other parents like that. She might have been okay with him being like that. But then once they got on the interview, and once she realized everybody else saw something, then that might be when she said she was going to go in and make her move. That might be exactly what happened. Who knows? But I don't think that what the kids are saying happened to them, and the consistency in which those kids are saying that these things happened, and with me being aware of Michael Jackson's boy-like qualities and knowing what boys have said that they have done amongst each other, I can believe that those things happen. That they said. Now, like I said, I don't think no penetration happened or no oral happened. But I think there was mutual masturbation, touching, things of that nature. Absolutely. And I think that some of them parents, they didn't care. They was able to be close to Michael Jackson. They turned the other cheek. What in the hell kind of parent is gonna be okay with somebody begging to sleep in the bed with their child? First of all, and everybody is giving Michael a pass because it's Michael. Why is he begging to sleep in the bed with somebody's child? And whose parent is giving into that? This whole shit, just get it together. Get it together. You know that this is what Michael did. You know he did it. You just don't want to say it. You don't want to admit it because then that's gonna force you to have to do something, and that's what a lot of people think. That's why they don't want to believe it about their favorite celebrity because they feel like it's going to cause them to have some kind of reaction. And this is my opinion. It don't cause me to do nothing but just admit what I think I see. And then every time I listen to the song, I'm just going to talk about how much of a shame it is that they had so much potential and they could have did better. And I wish they would have done better with their life and keep them in my prayers and all that. That's the extent of what I'm going to do. Right? That's the extent. Because I'm not sitting here saying I ain't going to listen to no Michael Jackson no more, or no R. Kelly, or no P. Diddy, or nobody else. Just like I still watch Rosemary's Baby. That's one of my favorites. Rosemary's Baby is one of my favorite movies, and I'm still gonna watch it. And every time it comes on, and me and my older stepdaughter, that's one of we like that together. Every time it come on, we gonna sit down and watch it, and we're gonna talk about how such a shame it is. It is just such a shame. But that ain't gonna stop us from watching it. You said, did the series come out yet? But what's point of talking about him when he's not here to defend himself? Well, this is the thing, Queen Keish. I think because in this series, this is what I did here because I told you I watched it and I probably watched the whole thing, but I'm not satisfied with how I watched it because I wasn't able to pay full attention. But so there were bits and pieces that I did capture. But this is what I think. Queen Keish, if they keep making movies about his life, and this was part of his life, why can't they talk about that too? That was part of his life. They keep making movies about his life. Why keep making movies about his life and he's gone? You can ask the same question. You could ask the question that if these people feel like that they were his victims, right? And they feel like they was victimized by him. and they are seeing that the public is still praising him the way that they do, then why wouldn't they continue to keep trying to get their word out about what they believe happened to them and their experience with him? If it's okay, I think you have to take the good and the bad, the bitter with the sweet. If it's okay for people to continue to celebrate him in spite of the fact of all of these rumors, and you got three jurors who sat on that bench, who sat in that trial, saw all and heard all of the evidence, and they said that they believe he did something, they just don't believe that the prosecution proved the case. You have three of the jurors saying that, who gave him a not guilty verdict. So they're letting you know that they didn't exonerate him because they felt he was innocent. Those are three that came out. We don't know if it's some more, but those are at least three that came out. So if it's fair for them to continue to make movies and things about him to commemorate his life and celebrate his life to people who he might not have, who he may have came to in a disguise as being something worthy of celebration, but then something negative happened to them, why isn't it okay for them to speak out about it? Why isn't it okay for the public to use um the same avenue to get the word out that was used in order to celebrate him? I mean, if you ask that question, you kind of got to ask the same thing when it comes down to the R. Kelly situation. Then why do people keep saying bad things about him? You would have to feel the same way. Why would people continuously say bad things about him? Because there are some people who feel like they was wronged by him. And so when there are people who are celebrating him, of course the response is going to be coming from those people who did not have such good experiences with him. You got to take the bitter with the sweet. You can't use your freedom of speech and then trample on the speech of someone else. That's how I feel about it. You said yeah, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I feel like all the voices can be heard in the arena. And that's why I ain't with no ban Netflix protest or none of that bullshit. Because when you start doing all that, you start controlling speech. And then when you start controlling speech, you start silencing people's voices. And too many people became victims because of their voices being silent. And too many people stay victims because of voices being silent. And then there are newly created victims because of silenced voices. So I don't believe all of the conversation needs to be available in the public conversation, in the public discourse, and let people fall where they may. Let them believe how they believe, but make the information available. It doesn't matter if you think the information is false. It's somebody who believes it. That's your opinion. It's somebody who believes that information. But at the same time, don't tell me that your opinion and your right to believe that information is more important than my right to not believe it. And then you don't want me to talk about it, but it's okay for you to talk about it based on the narrative that you've painted and created. And so that's what I think about that. Like, I don't see anything wrong with the fact that they talk about it. Like I said, there are jurors who said they did not believe Michael Jackson was innocent. And they saw the evidence. And I followed the trial. I seen it too. And like I said, I think those children, their voices were overshadowed by the bad actions of their parents. That's what I believe happened. Who in the hell is screaming, crying, and throwing a temper tantrum to sleep up in a bed with somebody else's child? Come on now. Now y'all giving this to cause y'all giving it because it's Michael. Y'all are giving it because it is Michael. If anybody else had done that, man, y'all would be. That's what gets me about this. That's what gets me about this whole thing. If it's anybody else that would have been doing any of that weird ass shit, you would be skeptical about them. Let some stranger off the street come to you and tell you that they want to sleep in the bed with your child. And throwing a temper tantrum of why won't you allow him to sleep over and sleep in the room with you and sleep in your bed. Come on now. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Where there is smoke, there is fire. I don't believe Michael penetrated none of them boys. I don't think he did no oral to none of them boys. But I damn sure think that it was some inappropriate fondling and touching and bullshit. Cuddling and all that type shit. Now, maybe the cuddling might not have been nothing wrong with it if he was doing it in a compassion, loving, parental type way. But I think that the additional things that these boys described, I believe them. I believe them. And I believe that their voices were not heard. Number one, because it was Michael Jackson. Number two, because of the action of their parents. And number three, because they were boy victims. Because oftentimes, people don't listen to men who are victims. They don't want to hear that. They don't believe that a boy or a man can be a victim. So they don't want to hear that shit. They had 3 strikes against them. MJ, the biggest pop star in America. MJ was more popular than the presidents. Just all types of people. I mean, MJ was on a whole nother level of celebrity. So that's the first strike. That's a death blow. That's a death blow. Then you bring in the actions of the parents, and then the fact that they boys. Oh yeah, yeah. We nah. This nah. This not what we gonna do. We not just like people ain't want to believe Diana Ross slept with Barry Gordy. You remember how long people didn't want to believe that? It was some people who didn't want to believe that because Diana Ross was America's sweetheart. Now we done found out Diana Ross had a whole child with Barry, and while he was married, and then look at how she did and Michael. Maybe Michael was scorned after Diana Ross, and this what led him down to this path. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm getting off of here. I done talked enough shit for the night. Listen, thank you, Queen Keisha, coming in here and talking with me tonight. Anybody on the replay, y'all leave your questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, and I will respond to all of you. Y'all have a good night, and I will talk to you guys soon.